said, what?
How could they do something like that?
Are you serious?
What a thirsty MFer.
Not good. She's absolutely dead to me.
That's because she died.
I'm Sterling Mulberry.
And I'm Blair Payton. And welcome to
Bad Behavior, a morally questionable podcast.
We're two unqualified friends,
Two unhinged comedians,
determined once and for all what is good
and what is bad.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Bad Behavior.
I'm so glad we're back this week.
I know.
So much to tell you.
Okay, well, hit me. What's going on? What's the hot goss? What's going on in your world?
So I just got back from this trip.
Okay.
I went to a national park. Okay.
Wow.
Adventurous.
Sounds fun.
Okay, so I go to this national park and I'm
Can you say which one?
okay.
Wait, is it contingent on what the story is?
Yeah, a little
okay,
bit.
then
I just
don't
don't want to
tell
get in trouble.
me. Okay. Is it in America?
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
All right. Okay, so I go to a national park with my friend this weekend.
Okay.
It was so gorgeous, so beautiful, so nice and warm. I'm like, to get some warmth at this time of year, you know?
Sure.
And, okay, so we go. And we're walking. It's the kind of national park you can just be roaming. You can be roaming.
You can love to go to a park.
I love to go to a park.
I think I may not like nature because every time someone suggests let's go to a park, I'm like, ugh, we have a TV right
But okay,
here.
imagine this. A Sunday. Obviously, this is a different kind of park, but this ultimately is my
They don't
favorite
have
kind of
TVs there?
No, a Sunday. Afternoon. A little blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Spread. Grass. On the grass. An arrangement of little snacks. A card game. And a book. That is an amazing day at a park.
Let me counter that with
Okay.
a plush couch.
No.
Air conditioning.
Here's the thing.
Some snacks that are in the fridge that are easily close by. A television that is playing the latest
Golden
Netflix
Girls episode.
All right.
All right.
No, I'm not going to finish because I was attacked.
I'm sorry.
Tell me what illegal thing you did at this park.
Okay, so my friend and I are at this park. We're roaming. We're walking all over the rocks, which you can do. People are doing that. We're looking at the sites, and we see this rock, really gorgeous. Okay. I feel like I shouldn't tell the story.
I love that you're halfway, like you're getting to the good part, and now you're like, no, I can't tell.
Okay. We're walking, and then we see this really gorgeous rock. And it was the type of place there's not much shade, okay?
Okay.
And we see this rock, and we're like, okay, this rock has shade. Like, let's go walk on that rock, like, it looks so cool. And again, everyone's walking on rocks. I cannot state that enough, okay? It's not like a stay on the trail kind of place. And
was there a lot of rocks at this place?
Yeah,
like,
it's actually
really selling the rock.
It's known for the rocks. So you could probably guess which park this is. But
well, I can't. I never leave my apartment.
Okay, so she's like, pop up on that rock. I'll take a picture of you. I hop up on the rock and I'm exploring and I'm like, oh my God. Someone's written on this rock.
What did they write?
Okay. And I'm like, you don't think that these are like really old drawings on the rock? Because
wait, what were the drawings?
like Native American drawings.
This doesn't feel
good.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm on this rock. I'm looking. I'm like, But then I was like, okay, if this was, they would have had a sign.
Right.
So maybe it's graffiti. So my friend jumps up on the rock.
It totally sounds like graffiti.
Then my friend jumps up on the rock. We're both on the rock.
Just really having a good time on this rock.
Then a group of people walk by us.
Yeah.
Very loudly say, "This is a sacred rock. No climbing." They're like reading a sign.
Wait, were they reading it for themselves or reading it
Definitely
for you?
For us.
It was pointed.
We jump off this rock so fast. And we feel so guilty. Because here's the thing, and I don't want to put the national parks on blast. The way they had
Sounds like you're about to.
The way they had this sign was like so far off the trail. There was no tape. There was no anything. The whole rest of the day, we're like, what if someone took a video? What if someone took a video of us? And it's gonna like dox us online. I don't know. We were literally so scared. And also we were like,
well, because it's
this
sacred.
Is such bad luck.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's been any floods or forest fires at this park that all of a sudden just happened
because of us?
Well, if it's
I
sacred.
don't think so. I don't know if I can tell this story on the pod. I feel too guilty.
Well, you just did.
Oh.
But don't you feel better for owning up to it?
No, I'm sweating. Anyways, that was our trip. We had like a really fun trip. It was like, but that really put it because we felt so guilty. Like the rest of the day, we were just like.
But you know what
Yeah.
You know what I'm hearing?
What?
Improper signage at the park, but also you have guilt. So that's
I do.
So you weren't actively seeking to.
No, it was not actively seeking to go on a
I
rock.
do think it's hilarious that you thought it was graffiti.
I know, I'm dumb, literally dumb as nails. I will say this, okay? Really quick.
Yeah.
I went to the Met and I full-blown saw teenagers rubbing their hands on the Egyptian tombs. Like the ones you are absolutely not.
Were you about to say
to.
absolutely?
I don't know what I was about to say, but
absolutely.
But there's signs everywhere, like and like they were just like brush, and I was like that. Okay, there's obviously so much wrong with even these like Egyptian mummies being in an American museum.
So by telling me this absolves
I just want to say, I guess like likely that my only thing I obviously feel terrible, but I'm also like I'm not the dumbest person that's ever lived. Likely. That means probably some literal dum-dum too has gotten up on that rock.
Okay.
And I just want to say, shout out to the National Park Service. Please put better signage because you're making little girlies like me feel guilty for the rest of my life.
You know, after hearing that story, it's really it's going to be hard for me to continue, especially with this episode. We got a great guest today, so it's going to be hard to, I don't know, look at you at the same light.
I know.
Will you promise me you never do it again?
I promise.
Okay. Well, let's bring in our guest.
You know her from her podcast, Just Between Us, her amazing Instagram account, Emotional Support Lady, and her book, Overthinking About You, one of her many books. Our guest today is Allison Raskin.
All right, so thank you so much for doing our podcast today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very worried.
Worried? We actually haven't had anyone say that yet.
Wow. So
what are your main worries? Let's get it off your chest right at the top.
I am terrified of being a bad person. It's something I've really had to like work through with my OCD, that like I will make mistakes and that I will do bad things and that just defied me. I always say I can handle anything as long as none of it was my fault.
Okay, great. Well, as someone else who has OCD, wow, what a fun club to be a part of. How many times do you check your stove?
I don't cook.
Oh, okay, great. So you're safe. So first off, let's just ask you, how do you handle bad behavior when you see it in progress or see it happening?
Oh, no, I say stuff. I used to think that I was a conflict avoidant person. And I think that that's true in terms of like friendships. Like if my friend is like hurting my feelings or I'm feeling like ignored by a friend, I like won't say anything. But like if I have an interaction with a stranger and they say something bad, I will call them out.
I'm super impressed by that because I've said it before on this podcast. I am just like a big old wuss. I will just watch it happen and hope someone near me will, intervene. So in this case, it would be you if you were on the subway with me. I'd be like, get them.
I mean, and not if I feel like I would put myself or someone else in danger. Like in those situations, I wouldn't. I like safety first always. But like, okay, for example, my go-to story now, maybe it's my only good story about it, but like we live on a street where there's a house being built. And one morning, my partner and I were walking our dogs and we saw that there was an unhoused man on the roof of the building, and he was kind of like running around and making a lot of noise and clearly seemed unwell. And I was really scared because I was like, I don't want this person to fall off this roof, but I also didn't want to call the cops because we know why. And so I didn't really know what to do. And then a neighbor who I'd never met before came across and said, "Can you believe that?" Like kind of gesturing to the guy. And I said, "Yeah, I really hope that he doesn't fall." And he said, "I hope he does." And I said, "That's a terrible thing to say." And then he tried to explain away why he thought it was okay for that man to die. And I was like, wasn't having it. And I kept walking.
Can you give us some of the highlights of how he tried to defend himself?
He was like, he started to explain that it was making all this noise and whatever. And it was really bothering him. And I was like, whatever. I was like,
and you're like, so just so I'm clear, you're saying someone's making a little noise and they deserve the death penalty.
Yeah, right?
Feel the whoa with Listerine at BJ's. You can save $2.50 now on Listerine products like Total Care Anti-Cavity Fluoride Fresh Mint Mouthwash or Cool Mint Pocket Packs Fresh Breath Strips at your nearest BJ's location. Experience the feeling of a million germs zapped in seconds with Listerine. Discount available through December 24th. Save now, only at BJ's.
Dan Mancini from Mama Mancini's. My grandmother cherished the family meal. It was a time to relax and enjoy a delicious, wholesome dinner together. It's our mission to deliver authentic Italian recipes made with the same real ingredients my grandmother used. Mama Mancini's classic Italian meatballs and slow-cooked sauce is available in the deli department at your local Publix and supermarkets across the country. Fully cooked and ready to serve, just heat and eat. Visit MamaMancini's.com to find the closest store near you.
So we have a game we play on this podcast. It's called Heaven or Hell. And this is a game where, based on the topic that we will reveal in a second, I don't know why I'm being so mysterious today, you're going to help us decide if you think these behaviors fall under 1 being hell and 10 being heaven, but you can go anywhere kind of on the scale of 1 to 10. So you have a podcast called Just Between Us. I wanted to kind of do a theme of things you believe should stay just between us in these different partnerships.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, your significant other comes up to you and says, just between us, do you really want to know what my parents think of you?
I am of the opinion that I would want to know, because I don't think that that is something that my partner should have to carry themselves.
Even if it's bad news.
Yeah. Like, I don't think that my partner should feel like it's their job to keep their parents' beliefs about me to themselves, and then them feel like they have this secret from me and that they have to guard me from it. I want to feel like, I don't really care what my partner's family thinks about me as long as I have a good relationship with my partner.
Have you ever been in a situation where that's arisen, something similar to this, or no?
Yes, but that is all I will say.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know. I have this need for people to at least tolerate me. So if they didn't like me,
I would say don't tell me. I think I'd be too
I think I would. I would make them carry it.
Make him carry forever?
Yeah, carry it.
I don't know. It really depends, I guess.
It's also my age, right? So at this age, I can handle, as long as I know that their reasons aren't valid or that I'm a good match and partner to my person. Mm-hmm. I'm strong enough in myself right now where I don't need that approval. Whereas if you'd asked me at 24, I would have been like, oh my God, they need to like me. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, a friend comes up to you and says, just between us, I have this insane piece of gossip to tell you, but you can't tell your partner.
See, another one of the things I say is I can keep a secret as long as I can tell one other person. But so I think what I would do, if I'm being honest, and this is going to blow up my spot, unless there was a specific reason why my partner in particular couldn't know, I would say, okay, and then maybe tell them anyway.
I would tell.
Right? I think of and this isn't I've been dating someone for 2 months and this is my friend of 10 years. You also have to look at the context. But this is your life partner, spouse, one of those things. We're a package deal. I got to hear that gossip. So I'm doing what I need to do to hear it.
Yeah. And to defend that, they say love is a circle. So if you're on that circle, then both of you are the circle. So you never, okay.
I've never heard of this.
Well, I think that's the wedding ring thing of
yeah. So, I was just trying to say that that was a convoluted way of, you're correct. That was what I was trying to say.
Okay, next one. Your mom or a parent of some sort says, just between us, can I tell you something your father or another parent does that drives me crazy?
I know I'm not supposed to. I know that that's triangulation and it's not healthy family dynamics. I took my family systems class in my grad program. I get it. But I'd be like, yeah. I could tell you 5 of those things.
Okay, so that one's no biggie. Okay.
My issue is then I would be like, ooh, do you want me to try to solve it? And that's where my issue with triangulation really comes in.
I love that. Okay, a stranger says this to you. Just between us, you're the most stylish person at this party.
All right, give us your hot take on this.
I guess it's kind of How do you feel about getting like a random big compliment from a stranger?
I know that will never be true, but it would be lovely to hear.
Oh, we don't know that. We have so much more life to live.
What is your style like?
So I have a lot of sensory issues because of my OCD. And so I can't really dress. I have to dress for comfort over style. So I try to find some style within the comfortable range, but I know I'm not a fashion forward person, and I've come to accept that.
Well, and comfy, honestly, it's the best. If I could wear sweats to work, that would be dope. But also too, I'm a little bit colorblind. So whenever I have big events, I have to like call friends and hold it up and be like, does this match? And they're like,
Yeah.
you're doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm not even colorblind, and sometimes I don't know what matches. So,
Well, this one I mostly threw on because you're getting married. So I feel like I wanted to get your take on this. A cousin. I'd love to invite you to our wedding, but my fiance wants to keep it really small.
I'd be like, sure, no problem.
Okay, but what if she's just like, yeah, we're going to keep it small, but we're going to have like karaoke and just like the alcohol is going to be flowing and it's going to movie projectors. Like it's going to be awesome.
So she's showing off how amazing her wedding is and then being like, but you're not coming.
But I'm keeping it small and invite list. I want it to be intimate. Does that change anything or no?
I mean, I had a cousin do a very small wedding and I wasn't invited, and that was totally fine. I think there's maybe like 10 people in the world who I would be upset if I wasn't invited to their wedding. And then everyone else, I would get it. Like, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. It's hard to, and I think it's nice to even have someone to have that conversation with me in the first place. But definitely, and this has made me terrible, but definitely a cousin, I'd be like, yeah, no problem.
My question is kind of, as you get I feel like I'm in the age, I'm getting a lot of wedding invites. How bad is it to say no? Or ultimately, is it kind of nice to remove yourself if you're not like core?
It's like probably a relief.
Okay.
I'm praying that like 20 people say no to us.
And can you state all their names?
How many people did you invite?
We had wanted it to be around like 90 people. And then through a series of events, we invited 122 people. But my dad said that if more people come, he was convinced all these people would say no. And he said that if more people come and we go over budget, it won't be my fault. And so I said, great. As long as it's not my fault, I'm fine.
Well, not to make you worried, but in the Sex and the City movie, like Carrie just wanted to keep it small, and then she got the dress, and then it got bigger, and then they got into a fight outside the, not the chapel, but the library,
Right.
and then took a whole year. So just, prepare yourself for what could happen.
I've said to my fiance, I said, look, we could get divorced, but we have to get married. I said, I can't have 2 broken engagements. We can 100% you fall out of love with me, fine. But we got to make it down the altar. We got to make it down the aisle.
Because I'm already mentally prepared, mother.
Yeah, I can't cancel 2 weddings. Come on.
That's too many.
Feel the whoa with Listerine at BJ's. You can save $2.50 now on Listerine products like Total Care Anti-Cavity Fluoride Fresh Mint Mouthwash or Cool Mint Pocket Packs Fresh Breath Strips at your nearest BJ's location. Experience the feeling of a million germs zapped in seconds with Listerine. Discount available through December 24th. Save now, only at BJ's.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
So we would like to hear your morally ambiguous story. And we'll go from there. We'll ask questions and see where the verdict falls.
Okay, great. Can I change people's names?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
What if we were like, no, you have to do their names.
Names, birthdays, social
you
security.
Can change literally everything. You could make up a whole lie.
Anyone who's been following me will know exactly who I'm talking about, but whatever. At least I tried, right?
Yeah.
So when I was in my mid-20s, I was dating this guy we'll call Tom, who I was obsessed with, and I loved him very, very much. But he had a lot of commitment phobia and was very hot and cold with me.
I've dated him.
Yes. And on our 1-year anniversary, he basically told me all these things that like he kept waiting for a sign that I was the one, but hadn't gotten that sign. And he thought when you knew, you should know. And he didn't know, but he had been thinking about his ex-girlfriend. Sort of just sharing with me as if he would share to a buddy, as though like the things he was saying wasn't like completely devastating to my soul.
Yeah.
And so after a year of being like boyfriend and girlfriend, we then proceeded into like 6 months or so of like on and off because like he couldn't fully commit and I couldn't fully let him go. So one of my tactics to either move on or to hook him was I was like, I'm going to start dating other people. And he was like, okay. And he told me that was fine. But I also wonder if he believed that I would do that because that's not really my jam. And so I had previously worked on a video with someone and he was gorgeous. But at the time I was with Tom and I was also like still of that mindset of like, oh, well, this person is so far out of my league. I won't even consider them to be a human possibility. And then I was having dinner with my friend and I bumped into this guy who I'd worked with, who we will call Dylan. I bumped into him and his coworkers, who I also knew was just like kind of a friendly LA, hello, I know you kind of thing. But then the next day he emailed me and I was like, oh my God, he emailed me. And so then we sort of had a little email correspondence that led to us making a plan to get drinks. And so I still wasn't totally, I think I knew it was a date, but there's still that like ambiguity of like, what is, it could not be. Do you know what I mean? Because we had met in a work fashion.
Also to kind of go get a date from an email. That is huge. Or like, I feel like that's a hardy environment to be flirty on. I don't know. That's beautiful. Okay, sorry, continue.
And it had like taken him a while to get back to me at one point. So I like wasn't totally sure. And during this whole period, I'm still dating Tom, but I'm like, I've made this declaration that I'm allowed to date other people.
Yeah.
And so we went on our first date and it went really well. And I really liked him. And I think I must have told Tom that I had done that. This is going to so date me in my YouTube relevance. But then I was going to VidCon. So I think I had 2 dates with Dylan before VidCon because then he was going out of town. But I had not told Dylan that I was dating Tom, that I was in this. And so that's the moral ambiguity is like Tom knew, but Dylan didn't know.
Okay.
And so then I'm at VidCon feeling alive, VidCon in 2017. I mean, it's like, or no, it must have been 2016. No, 2015.
I've heard of VidCon, but what is it exactly?
Oh, it's like Comic-Con for YouTubers.
Okay.
And at that point, like we were like at the height of our YouTube fame. And so we felt like the Beatles. And it was like this like wild time in my life where I'm like at like the Calvin Klein, like the gift suite, like being given free clothes while like 2 different guys are texting me. And I'm like, oh my God, I did it. Like I've never felt like cooler in my entire fucking life.
That's great.
And so I'm like at VidCon talking to both of them, and then I think, or some, maybe I'd only gone on one, I don't know. Anyway, at a certain point, like I had to tell Tom that like I was going to see Dylan again. Like it wasn't a one-off. And like, I think what happened, I was maybe going to see Dylan maybe for our second date before I saw Tom. So like, when you're dating someone, if you go out of town, you then go home and you see them immediately. But I was maybe going to see the new guy first or something. I don't know. It was like, it was like icky and I felt yucky about it. But what ultimately happened was Dylan went out of town for like a week and I saw Tom after Dylan had gone out of town. Dylan's still completely like unaware that I was in this like kind of relationship with someone else. And then I saw Tom and I think we both sort of knew that this was the end because like he wasn't going to keep seeing me if I was like dating this other person, but he also like wasn't going to commit to me. So we had like a 9-hour breakup, like, the kind of thing where like we just like decided we couldn't make it work, but then neither of us like wanted to leave each other's presence. And so at that day, I was texting with Dylan and I admitted over text that I had been seeing somebody, but that I was like wrapping it up and that like it was going to end today. And so Dylan, I think, was kind of like surprised to hear that, but then was also like, okay, like it's over. And I'm like, yeah. But then technically I like hung out with Tom for a few more hours after having kind of told Dylan it was over. Like I knew it was over, but like, the breakup was still in process. And then Tom and I broke up. And then I started dating Dylan. Is that
I think I followed it.
And we have lots of questions. We're going to dive into some questions before we deem you.
Okay.
You can be at peace. Don't worry.
So how long did you date Dylan from that point on?
I think 10 months, and it was a serious relationship, and that he abruptly left me, which is a theme that happens.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunately bad in my book.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other question I have is like, I've only done this once, and I've juggled 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me anxiety.
I didn't like it. It lasted for like a total of like 1 week because I couldn't handle it.
Mine was about 2 weeks because honestly, I wound up picking the wrong guy based superficially. And then I didn't hear from either one of them again. So I just can't imagine the anxiety, but it is kind of a cool feeling to have 2 guys after you.
Oh, it's a thrill. What a thrill.
I guess my question, okay, now I'm already forgetting everybody's names. Who's the original?
Tom.
Okay. Tom, was he dating anybody at the time? Or like you guys were open and everyone knew that? Do you know if he was going on dates actively at all?
I don't think so. But then he immediately, once we broke up, started dating the girl I had a feeling had her eyes on. Like the girl he had told me not to worry about. He immediately started dating her right after.
I don't love that. And how long did you and Tom date?
Tom and I, about 1.5 years total, include a year of like full boyfriend, girlfriend, then that's 6 months of murkiness.
Now, when you were telling that story and you told him that you were going to date someone else and he was like, okay, it seemed a little sarcastic the way you said it. Did he actually respond that way? Like, okay, good luck. Was it kind of that vibe?
I don't remember. I don't think that he thought I would actually go. I don't think it was a sense of like, oh, Allison can't date anyone else. She won't find anyone. I think it was more a sense of like, he didn't think I would actually go through with it.
Okay.
But once I had that set up with that, I felt more morally murky about not having told Dylan. Whereas I think I kept it above board with Tom, if that makes sense.
Can I ask some questions about the 2 dates with Dylan?
Yes, but I'm having a tough memory time of when they were.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. Were they kind of like super long dates? Was it kind of like a dinner? 2 dates for me regularly, I feel like you don't have to say too much yet. That's like so new and early on. I guess like the only difference in my book is like, oh, the 2 dates randomly were like a trip or like a trip somewhere that it was 2 days. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of like a bigger 2 dates than your normal dinner and drinks.
No, it was the first one was just drinks. And then the second one, I think we like hung out in an afternoon. So we like went and got ice cream and hung out. I think for most people, they wouldn't even think that this was wrong. But for me, there was something about the fact that like I was texting with Dylan while I was breaking up with Tom that felt like really icky. And it's just like not my vibe. So then it felt like unaligned with how I normally operate. And so therefore it felt bad.
What was the reason for not being upfront with Dylan about Tom?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I just like, it felt like, I guess it's just like a weird thing to say to like, I'm kind of still seeing my ex, but like but we're figuring things out. And so I'm dating you to get back at him. Like, I didn't want
that's kind of hard to bring up just casually.
Well, did it start out that way where it was kind of like at a dig at Tom, but then you were like, oh, this is kind of going pretty well.
But also like Dylan was so hot. Like I have to like, it was almost like a celebrity had asked me out. I was like, I'm not going to not say yes to this guy.
Yeah.
Compare him to a celebrity just so we have an idea.
I just want to give away his identity.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. But
what if he's a doppelganger to a celebrity?
Okay.
I can't think of a correct celebrity, but very attractive guy. But actually when we started dating, I had not seen him. He had grown a very full beard. And that actually made me less attracted to him. And I think that was helpful because if I had been full attracted, I think I would have been too nervous.
That is scary going out with someone so hot. It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you with this beard, I can talk to.
Yeah. You're like, you're a peasant to me now. Wow. I have a lot of thoughts. I think, can I just run through my thoughts?
Yeah, go through.
I guess they're
Please.
Okay. Tom, to me, I'm so uninterested in someone being like, I should know if you're the one. I'm like, I'm not interested in somebody like putting that on you and then being so messy about it. So unfortunately, because of that, I'm going to easily side, like, you could have done so much worse. For that part of it, I'm like, totally good behavior. When it comes to Dylan, I would say like the texting maybe during the breakup is like a little hard, but you know what? Ultimately, like, you were in a tricky situation, things happen. That's not too terrible. And I think like because it had only been 2 dates, that's like so early on. And again, the 2 dates weren't a trip to specify, weren't a long, fun weekend away. I think it's fine. I think like early on in dating, like having, I don't know, like being a little protective of yourself and not having to like reveal everything about yourself. Like, I think that's fine. Like, he didn't deserve to have like all this information. You didn't go into the date being like, I'm looking for marriage by end of week. And then he's like, what? You're seeing someone else? I don't know. Like, that I think it's okay to have not been so upfront with somebody. And then also, I don't like how he kind of just left ultimately after 10 months. I don't love that. So unfortunately, that really takes him down a peg. So I think it's easily good behavior in my book. And you could have done, I'll say it, so much worse, and you still would have been good, I think.
You know what?
Blair's going to say no.
I mean, it's kind of bad behavior, but you already feel so remorseful about it. I get the feeling you probably beat yourself up about it, which I totally get. So I'm going to give you a pass and say good behavior.
Oh, wow. I don't feel bad about it anymore or anything. I think that what I learned from that situation was that I'm someone who cannot date multiple people at once.
And it was a learning lesson.
It was a learning. Like, it was like other people can, and like it's no problem. But for me, I really didn't like it. And so I never did it again.
There was growth. Yeah, I'm saying good behavior.
I mean, I guess I did it again a little bit, like, right, very early, but it felt different when it was like a full blown relationship. And then, when you're dating on apps, like, you have like a little overlap.
Of course.
All
Now,
right.
do you feel, because I feel like we both went good.
Yeah.
So we can give you.
Actually, I guess I kind of did it again one other time, but that's another
okay.
story.
I see this.
Okay.
You have to kind of experiment, try out different things. You don't know what's going to work. And then ultimately, you might
I'm just waiting for you to be like, actually, it was 3 or 4 more times.
Yeah.
And then we're like, wait, we've got to deliver it then.
Actually, I have a problem.
But we also like to give our guests the option in case they feel like they need to be punished in a way that they can then live guilt-free.
Oh no, I don't like to be punished.
You don't want to be punished? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, we have, I would say, one of the best prizes I think you can give somebody, not to raise your expectations too high, is a compliment from your therapist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So anyways, we're going to kind of be a faux therapist and deliver this gorgeous compliment. You can have it kind of wash over you. Blair, do you want to?
Thank you.
Yes.
How exciting.
All right, so if you want to let your body relax, maybe close your eyes.
Or you can keep them open.
All right, here we go. You, Allison, are a natural storyteller and lead such a fascinating life. Dare I say, main character energy.
Wow.
How do you
Thank
feel?
you so much. I feel good. I guess I have never known if that term was a good or not, to have main character energy.
That's true. You kind of wrote that one.
I did. I think it's a great thing.
Okay, because I've seen it sometimes in a little
bad.
bit of a derogatory way.
Oh, we'll take it in a good way.
Okay,
Yeah.
then in a good way, I'm thrilled.
Now that you said that, I've had people say that to me, and now I'm questioning my whole existence.
Blair's like, wait.
Wait, is it bad?
No. Well, I guess I think of it maybe in the context of, do you guys know the famous movie, The Holiday?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so you know that scene where that old man is telling Kate Winslet, like, you're the supporting role in your life.
Mm,
And so I kind of think this is the opposite. You're someone saying,
right.
you're giving me
You are
character
taking
energy,
control.
but you don't know. I guess in this context, we're saying it's a good thing, but now Blair's like rethinking every interaction he's ever had.
I'm sure. I think it's only on like some mean TikToks that it's meant as a bad
Okay,
thing. I
well,
think
just
it
to be
is meant as a
safe,
good thing.
I'm going to take it off my Hinge bio. Just to
Wait, that's on your Hinge bio.
Just want to let them know what they're getting into.
Wait, really? Okay, well, gorgeous. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been so fun. Thank you for bearing with us.
Yeah, it was great to meet you.
Oh, I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
And where can people follow you? You have so many platforms. List them off right now.
Well, first, I love to promote the book, Overthinking About You, Navigating Romantic Relationships When You Have Anxiety, OCD, and or Depression. there's more in that book about both Tom and Dylan, along with a lot of expert advice for sort of the intersection of mental health and dating. And then you can listen to my podcast, Just Between Us, on any podcast platform. Socials, I'm at Allison Raskin. And I also have my mental health brand called Emotional Support Lady, which is both an Instagram and a Substack.
And that's our show. Thanks so much for listening today.
We absolutely hate to do this. We hate it.
But it would mean the world to us if you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you get podcasts, rate and review.
Follow us at Bad Behavior NYC on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks again for listening.
And remember, whatever your moral status, we are always here to judge. Bye. Do you think that was good?
Feel the whoa with Listerine at BJ's. You can save $2.50 now on Listerine products like Total Care Anti-Cavity Fluoride Fresh Mint Mouthwash or Cool Mint Pocket Packs Fresh Breath Strips at your nearest BJ's location. Experience the feeling of a million germs zapped in seconds with Listerine. Discount available through December 24th. Save now only at BJ's.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money. A Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.